Windows XP, Nintendo DS. Those are two things I'm sure you never thought would be in the same sentence, but here we are. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode we're going to be diving into the world of Windows XP, sort of, because we're going to be taking a look at a Windows XP simulator for the Nintendo DS called, fittingly, WintenDoS XP. And today, for those of you who don't know, is the 20th anniversary of Windows XP's retail release back in 2001. And there was originally a different video planned for today, but unfortunately due to some shipping delays, that video had to be pushed back a little bit. So that is coming. We will have a proper Windows XP related video on the channel very soon to mark this occasion. But for now, we're going to have to settle for this, which is still a really neat application, a homebrew application for the Nintendo DS, released sometime in the mid-2000s by some French developers. And as I said, this is a simulator, not an emulator. As cool as it would be to see proper Windows XP running on a Nintendo DS, it's just not going to happen because, well, hardware limitations are a thing. The hardware in here is just not capable of running Windows XP at all. And of course, it wouldn't be a Nintendo DS homebrew related video if we don't mention flash carts, the holy grail of DS homebrewing that literally make it possible. What I have here is an R4 Revolution, one of the more popular ones, certainly the one that I remember. And this looks like a standard Nintendo DS game cartridge, just without any Nintendo seal of approval, except for what's on the back, a micro SD card slot. You would load all your homebrew applications on this and then pop it into the R4 and pop it into your Nintendo DS, and you could be right on your way into enjoying emulators, the Windows XP simulator we're about to take a look at, whatever it is. And this R4 even came with a micro SD to USB adapter, so you could plug it into your computer. Very nice, right? Some companies could take note of that. Apple. And as much as I would like to use the original Nintendo DS to demo everything here, it doesn't show up as well on camera as my Nintendo DS Lite because, well, the screen's brighter. Though this original DS will still come in handy because, just like it, my DS Lite suffers from a bad hinge. In this case, the screen no longer locks in place. It's just flopping around there. So we're going to use the original DS to prop the screen up. So when you start up a Nintendo DS with the R4 cart inserted, it just goes straight to its menu interface. It bypasses the system menu completely, though you can still get to that by tapping on the Finder icon, which is an interesting choice, but hey, I guess it fits, though I'm sure Apple is not really too much of a fan of that. And yes, if you had a game inserted, this is how you would launch it, or in this case, since we don't, it gives you the option if you want to boot to NDS mode, which is just the system menu, the regular system menu. You also have an audio player. If you want to go in here and play some MP3s you put on your SD card, you can do that. And you have game right here, which is what we're interested in because this shows all of your homebrew applications. And yes, you can see I've been experimenting with some other stuff. We're going to go into the games directory here. And in here we've got two versions of WintenDoS XP to explore. We have version 2.5 and version 3.0. Now version 2.5 is in English. It was translated by, I believe, someone on GBA Temp. Version 3.0 is not. It is fully in French, and you can see it is a larger file as well, almost 3 megabytes as opposed to just under 1 megabyte here. So there you go. And what's really cool is I was kind of looking into the history of all this stuff. These NDS homebrew applications were submitted to a couple of coding competitions, and in fact the WintenDoS 3.0 version has a splash screen for one of the coding competitions that it was submitted to. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We're going to start out with version 2.5 here. When you launch it for the first time, the R4 menu will prompt you and say that it could not find a save file. Do you want to create it? We'll say A for OK, A-OK, and it begins to load the game. So you get a boot screen there. It says WintenDoS XP, and then you get to an out-of-box experience looking interface. It's modeled after the Windows XP out-of-box experience, and it says, "Welcome to WintenDoS. Thank you for choosing our program. Take a few minutes to prepare the system." The translation is not completely accurate, but you know, you get the gist of it here. So just to kind of go over how you navigate around this, there are a couple ways of doing that. You can use the D-pad over here to move the cursor. and you can mouse over here and press the Y button to go to next. And you can see I just did that. It brings up a keyboard here because it wants me to enter my name. The cursor is moving much slower now. You saw we had that trackpad before. You can click on this mouse icon here, and you can get to a trackpad which you can use to move an, oh, see, that's okay. What was happening there is I had selected the mouse option, and then it still registered like that I was in keyboard mode here, and that is definitely a bug, and that is something you're going to see a lot of, especially in the 3.0 version. Maybe not, I mean, when I was trying this off camera, I didn't really experience very many bugs in 2.5 here, but in 3.0, yeah, there were some bugs. What equipment do you use? So this allows you to choose between a DS Lite or the DS Fat, which is just the original DS. So we're going to select DS Lite. You can see the mouse is moving much faster now, so I assume because the text box was on screen, there was more, you know, for the system to handle. WintenDoS will now restart the system to take into account the changes. If you encounter problems when using this program, you can contact us by email, support-wintendos@hotmail.fr. That's how you know they're legit. Attention, despite the similarities with the Windows XP software, this program is not the property of Microsoft. So yeah, just in case you had any doubts. And there you go, you get a pretty neat looking boot screen based around the Windows XP one. Obviously, it says WintenDoS XP instead of Windows XP. No copyright information, nothing. We don't need any of that, right? And here we go. So this is it, guys. This is the WintenDoS XP interface. So the interface down here is the same as what we saw during the setup, but you now have a desktop with 4 icons. You've got a start menu, a taskbar, and the iconic Bliss wallpaper, which they've brought on here as well. Very, very fancy. So down here, let's explore these options. So you already saw the keyboard mode and the mouse mode. So what I was trying to show you before we encounter that bug is that you can use your stylus to move the cursor around as well by using this trackpad mode down here. So I can go here to the start button, for example, and I can tap the left click button to open it up, just as I can use the D-pad and the Y button to select it as well and click on it. You also have the keyboard when you're presented with a text box. If you open up Notepad, for example, you can type that out here. You have a full QWERTY keyboard crammed onto a DS touchscreen, which is glorious to use. And then you also have some things that are just for show, like these buttons over here and this RAM indicator, and then whatever this is down here. I assume this is probably to mimic like a reset button, but you know, it doesn't actually do anything. You can tap on credits here, and if you have to actually hold the stylus down. If you let go, it will go away. So these are the names of the developers. Version, oh, this is 2.0 actually. Okay, so the website was wrong that I got this from. It said it was 2.5. And yes, English translation for gbatemp.net. So I don't know. Oh, I thought it was gbatemp.net translated it. Maybe they translated it using Google Translate or something, and that's why the translation isn't completely accurate. But again, it still gets the point across, and you know, it's nice that it's in English. But like I said, the French speakers, you guys are going to have a field day when I launch into the French version here. You've also got options, which brings up this little menu here. You can change the screen light, you can make the screen brighter if you want, and you can also change the speed of the cursor. So if you want the cursor to be zooming across the screen, which I think 3 is the highest option. I think, no, it's not. Okay, I was just not pressing it there. Yeah, you got a really tiny little up arrow. Maybe 5. Nope, 5 isn't. Let's see how high we can go here. 7. Okay, so I believe 10 is the highest speed, so we'll set that. And now the cursor, oh yeah, it's zooming across the screen now. Isn't that nice? So you've got 4 applications. You've got Calculator, Minesweeper, Notepad, and My Computer. So we'll open up Calculator here. We can double click. And it is designed, like everything across this operating system, to look like Windows XP. Let's do 1 plus 5, or 55, okay. What does that equal? 56, if you didn't know that. You've got some menus up here which don't do anything, at least some of them don't. So help and view don't do anything, edit in this case doesn't do anything. So yeah, all these options up here don't do anything. But I know in Notepad, if we open up Notepad here, the options in here, some of them actually have functions. So file here, you can click on this and new, open, save, save as, or exit. But that is the only menu that does something. So all these other menu options don't do anything. So this is where the keyboard comes into play. So we can type out, let's say, oh, that's not what I want to type out at all. And you can see we got a bit of a bug here. So the characters are still showing up even though we have gotten rid of them by typing backspace. So let's try to type hello world. Hello world. So we can save that. It's a beautiful text document. So we're going to go to file here. We're going to save that as, and nothing happens. I must have clicked out of the box. So save as. Okay, maybe save as doesn't do anything. How about save? Save doesn't do anything. You know what? I think these are just for show. Well, I clicked on new there, and it brought the cursor back to the beginning of the document, and it just hasn't taken away our text. So if I space through that, you can see now it's gone. So yeah, I don't think that save as. Let me just go back here, and let's go down to open. Ah, that's what it does. It doesn't open up a file browser or anything. It just saves that one text document, because when I clicked on open, it brought back hello world, and it brought the cursor all the way over here to the bottom right corner. So like you can only save one document here. So one thing I'm curious about, let's go ahead and exit out of this here. So let's do exit, and then let's turn this off and turn it back on, and let's see if our text document will be able to open, like as if it actually saved that to the SD card, because it does write files to the SD card. Like now that we've already gone through that initial setup process, the out-of-box experience, we can go back into games here, launch it again, and you'll see it will no longer prompt us for the save data because we created it, and now it just loads right into the desktop instead of bringing us through that initial setup again. So it does write stuff to the SD card, but let's see if it saves our wonderful text document. Well, it didn't save our settings because we're back on the slow cursor here. So we'll open up Notepad again, and we'll go to File, and we will open. Okay, it does. Beautiful. So that does work. That functionality is there. So you can write one text document and save it to the SD card. So, because yes, save as does not bring up like a file browser of any type to where you can save that to a proper location on the SD card. So we're going to exit out of Notepad here, and you can see my computer has disappeared from the desktop for some reason. I don't know exactly why that is. Oh no, there it is. It was just hidden for a second there. So there it is. Now this is a file browser, and you can see we actually have that text document right here, text.txt. And this is the actual file system on the card that we're browsing, because you see I've got a couple files here. We've got system volume information, we've got Moonshell, that's the MP3 player or the audio player, games, we've got the games folder, the data folder. So here's our text document. We can't launch it from here, but one thing I want to try that I'm very curious about that we will do before this video is over is I want to try and write, you know what, let's do it right now, why not? Okay, so what I did is I copied the entire B-movie script, yeah, we're bringing back that meme, to that text.txt document. So let's see if we open this up. Oh my... Okay, that's too good. That is too good. So it just completely crashes there. But yeah, I think I can see parts of the script too. That's hilarious. So yeah, this was like, you know, 5,000 lines or something on Notepad. Is that what it was? Yeah, 4,500 lines. Okay. So that just completely screwed up the entire game here. Oh, look, there's the start button. Okay. So let's just launch Minesweeper here. You want to launch Minesweeper and see if we can still... Yeah, I think we're gonna have to restart here. Oh, wait a second. There we go. Okay, so we've got part of the script here. I think that's part of the script. And... Alright, let's launch Minesweeper? Can we launch Minesweeper? We can. Okay. Alright, this is Michael from the future here. I mean, well, the future from when that past clip was recorded, but still in your past... You know what? Hi. I just wanted to point this out really quickly here. I found this super interesting because when you launch Minesweeper, for a split second, it displays the entire board and where everything is positioned. So that makes it a lot easier, at least if you're able to take a photo or something of this to use. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to do that. But anyways, let's just get back to the video. How's that? Oh no, I lost. What a surprise. You know what? I just want to see this happen again. Let's just go to Notepad here and just... This is so stupid. Okay, open, and yeah, it just completely freaks out. So yeah, those are the programs. I don't think I missed anything, right? We go to start here, Yeah, we took a look at Notepad. Yeah, that was everything. So we can go to shut down here, and this gives you, this looks like it was actually just ripped from Windows XP and just shrunk down here. So you got turn off computer, standby, turn off, and restart. And then this button is still in French here. There are some remnants of French throughout the system, as you saw in the credits menu, for example. Again, there it is. We still have some French down here. So we're just going to turn off, and it does not load you back into the R4 menu. It doesn't shut off your system either. You can see it's still on here. So we're going to shut off the system and then power it back on. For version 3.0, this version has that splash screen that I was talking about from one of the competitions that it was submitted to. And that is the NeoFlash Summer Compo 2009, which it scored 10th place in out of 11 entries. So that's pretty cool. So right here you can see this is the newly designed keyboard. Looks a little bit nicer here. Let's see if the trackpad still works with the keyboard here. Okay, it doesn't. So we can type, though there is the little trackpad down here. So that is nice. So we can type, let's try to type, oh, we've got the AZERTY layout. AZERTY, we meet again. And then, of course, you have to select what console that you're running this on. And the DSi is an option now because it was out at the time of this version's release. So there you go. We'll hit next. And then it says, merci, thank you, WintenDoS. Oh yeah, I cannot read the rest of that. Now, this version has more capabilities. For example, there's sound now. Isn't that nice? We got the Windows XP welcome sound, the startup sound. You probably didn't hear that super well. We don't have any icons on the desktop this time. We do have, though, the same Bliss wallpaper, the start button, the time there in the bottom right. When we open up the start menu, though, you see we have, well, first of all, it's the proper Windows XP 2-column layout start menu, whereas we had that kind of classic style start menu in the previous version. Though not all of these options are functional. For example, all programs doesn't do anything, run doesn't do anything, help doesn't do anything, network places doesn't do anything. Actually, it does. It freezes the system. It freezes the system every single time that you select it. And even down here, like, I can no longer change between these options here. What this version does have is a working control panel where you can change the desktop wallpaper. So let's check that out. Let's go to the start button and we'll go to the control panel. And yes, it is showing like that I'm selecting options here, but you can't do anything with these either. There's nothing there. So this first option here is how you change, and you can see this I encountered before off camera, where you kind of get like a missing no cursor here, and it just kind of freaks out on you. So yeah. Oh yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it? So let's restart. And okay, this is what it was supposed to display. So this is how you choose between the desktop wallpapers. So you can't actually select them here. You have to use the arrow here at the bottom to go through the list. So you can pick any of the XP default wallpapers. I think they're all in here, which is pretty neat. At least it looks like that. So we're gonna set it to this one actually, the Windows flag. That's fine. So we can hit apply, and just like in XP or just Windows in general, it applies the changes but keeps the window open. So there you go. You also have appearance here. I think it may just be for show here because you can't select on these options, but you do have Windows XP Luna theme, though it doesn't really show up properly here, and then blue. And oh boy, we've already glitched out again. So this option here is your screensaver, I think, which I think is just another thing for show. This doesn't really seem to do anything. Okay, so I've been going through the control panel options off camera, and it's been a little bit difficult because, well, it keeps kind of crashing there. So this performance one here gives you the actual specifications of the Nintendo DS here. Now, this doesn't do anything. It's just purely for show here. You can't make a new user account or anything. And even when you do this, when it's not completely glitched out, it doesn't work. It's just for show, at least as far as I can tell. And you see we have a little bit of trouble closing out here. There we go. Okay, this is attempt like 10, I think, at this point, the amount of times I've started this up. So, okay, here we go. We go to connection here. This one I know doesn't crash the system, but yep, doesn't do anything. This programs thing here is just for show, so that button there doesn't do anything. We'll close out of that. And accessibility this gives you the option to, well, in this case, it glitches out once again, but this allows you to change the cursor speed. Yeah, you just have to tap on the text here. So we can make the cursor move around really fast here, can increase the speed, and now when I use the D-pad, yep, we're zooming around just like in the older version, so that's pretty neat. So we'll close out of that, and we'll close out of that. I think our last option is computer here, which also, wow, that doesn't do anything either. Okay, so yeah, and there aren't any, I mean, we don't have Minesweeper, we don't have Notepad. I thought for sure we had the same programs that we did in version 2.0 in here. Actually, I think the changelog mentions something about going backwards to go forward, something like that. So yeah, version 3.0 in the changelog here says, sometimes you have to take a step back to move forward. Ooh, very deep quote there. So yeah, I assume that means, hey, we just removed some stuff so we could focus on the interface and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what happened. We don't have Minesweeper, Notepad, so we can't take a look at the B-movie script trying to open up here, unfortunately. But what we do have, actually, I don't think there's anything over here. Let me just double check the notification area. I don't think we have anything. And yeah, so that doesn't do anything. What we do have, let's focus on the bottom screen here. So you already saw we have the same trackpad, and we can tap here to get the keyboard, though we've got the added trackpad down here. What we also have is this third option, which swaps the screens. So now we have the desktop here on the bottom, so we can use it and move the mouse around here, and we can tap on things and interact with the system that way. And to swap the screens back to their original configuration, you just want to press the L or R button, and it does just that. This is also a way to scroll through the input methods here, so if you want to do that, and you can also get to this mode from there as well. So yeah, very neat. And that is really all there is to say, guys. That is WintenDoS XP in all of its glory. Certainly a very interesting and unique set of homebrew applications for the original Nintendo DS. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and get subscribed down below. Turn on those notifications if you haven't already, because I upload new videos every single week on this channel. And as always, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.